Hey. Oh, part two back with Karan Balwani. Hey, so we're continuing the conversation. So you like the different cultures, different foods or whatever? So are you
Yeah.
just dating them for the food or for the what?
Um, I'd say there's a lot of things like not just food, but like oftentimes we find cultural similarities where there are differences. Like,
Any particular cultures you like yourself? Like any like interest you or whatever?
um, no preference as such, but I like learning about different cultures. Like even with my coworkers, so uh, one of them is from Vietnam, the other one is from Guyana.
Okay,
Then
cool.
there's someone from the Caribbean, like other Caribbean places and all of that. So it's always good to learn more about their culture. There's someone from Australia as well. So they tell us about how they celebrate their holidays and what they like to do in their free time and how they grew up, the shows they watched, the movies they saw, and all of those things. How they spend time as a family. So it's always a learning experience, and
That's nice.
sometimes when you find that like similarity in something or the other, then it's always a fun discovery.
That's nice. That's cool. So to ask you, you said about your first interview, you said about you go on a little trips for soul searching, you say?
Yeah, it was more like a solo trip, but it ended up being soul searching.
Okay.
I Yeah, because growing up, I used to have a lot of social anxiety. Like when I moved to Pune for my master's, so I used to get these panic attacks, that people are watching me, people are judging me, and all of that, and all that.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I really wanted to push myself to, be more comfortable around strangers and all of that. So the first ever trip I was taking, uh, it happened by chance. One of my friends invited me that let's go to Goa. You have your birthday as well, and we will celebrate it there. And then he bailed out on me at the last moment, like just one day before. And I thought to myself, okay, I have the days to go execute this trip. I don't have anybody to come with me, but I'll book it anyway. And as soon as I booked it, being the geek or not I am, I started Googling, okay, how to go on a solo trip, what to do when people are looking at you, all that.
People are
Yeah.
so what do you mean people are looking at you? Like
Yeah,
what do
like
you mean?
you have that thing in your mind and you're like, oh, I feel judged and everything. But it's kind of the opposite. It's like that sense of ego, that how self-important are you, that
Oh yeah,
everybody's,
yeah.
you know
Self-image, right?
yeah. So when you understand that nervousness kind of goes away. So I still remember, like, I had taken a book with me, like How to Kill a Mockingbird. I bought it from the station, like
Okay.
the bus station.
Did you read
And
it?
I read a few pages. It was just to avoid eye contact and gaze from other strangers. So, and just at that point, I felt that I was being watched. But once I reached there, it was my birthday. So it's the greatest opener in the world. It's my
Okay.
birthday today. It opens up conversation. I talked to the bartender while they were cleaning up the bed, like in the bunk bed that I was supposed to sleep in. So I started with asking about he had a huge tattoo on his arm, and what's the story behind it and everything. And then I realized that there were people sitting over there, and I just thought how to initiate a conversation, whatever and all. So I just said, "Hey guys," as I was walking by, and then that opened up to a 4 hour long interaction, and we became really good friends. I still have a lot of people from my solo travels that I'm still in touch with. They became really good friends, but I really wanted to push myself to get out of that shell. So I think after the solo travel, I'd say public speaking and stand up comedy was the next step in that. Improv was there along the way as well. So yeah.
Cool. Wow, wow. Self-conscious about, being perfect looking, kind of like you want to look less than some other person because they may look at, I guess it is. It's in your mindset, right? You
Yeah.
know. So I was gonna ask you, so you're after your first solo trip, so I encourage you to go and do more trips after that.
Yeah, every year I'd used to go to the same hostel. The location was changed. The location was the same, but the graffiti on the walls would change because people would come in, they would paint their own art and everything.
Oh,
And
nice.
the audience would change as well, like all the different people from different parts of the country and from other places across the world as well. So it was a really good experience. Like I got to learn about different cultures and different professions as well. So let's say if somebody is like a Korean language instructor, an Indian girl, or somebody is in the merchant navy, or someone who's like a British lady who sells ethnic Indian clothing as a side hustle, and she had her own website and everything, and she had learned all about the haggling and all of that in India. Like uh, it was like when auto drivers would like trick her that you have to pay 900 for this, but she knew the correct prices, so she could navigate her way through
Oh,
that and all.
that's like a little story in itself. Your everybody's little story and all. Wow. Do you keep it? Do you keep it, Karen? Do you keep a journal for yourself, like a diary or whatever?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
So
okay.
I started my writing journey in 2016.
Mhm.
Before that, I used to write a diary when I was little, but from 2017 onwards, I've been journaling my life every week since
Okay.
20.
So you do
So for
like every, cause I do a drill too. I started since I did it when I was a kid, growing up
Mhm,
till like high school, and then I threw it all out because I went to the military. So I should
mhm,
have kept it. I wish I did. And then I came back and then I started writing after the military. I started writing again 20 years later, right? So
mhm,
I always keep I got a couple of books here. So now I'm pretty since 2002 been at it all the time. So I look
yeah,
back at stuff that's not, you look back and like you're reading. No, but people like that. I do like when I do trips, like bike trips or ever, or short trips. I'll each I'll do like a journal or I'll do a story. People like all that stuff,
yeah,
They like little things like that. And I always keep it like I keep it like neutral. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna write that. Like
mhm,
if I'm doing a bike trip, I'm feeling frustrated, like reaching a certain hike or a trail, or I'm not having any luck with the wind. I'll write down I'm frustrated. I want to do. I want to quit this
mhm,
bike. I'm gonna get
mhm,
trained and go back. Just take it all the way. So people like the honesty because you're not like you said about image. You're not trying to feel like you're the perfect muscle guy biking there. I'm on it all perfect. I'm gonna ride. Oh yeah, all perfect. Perfect stop. Perfect people. It's boring. I'll say my nephew's nieces. If you want to be perfect, you're gonna be boring to people. People don't want that. Also, just go on Jeopardy.
mhm.
It was so funny. So
Yeah,
do you do your own cooking in your place or what?
I do a little bit of cooking, but again, it's the matter of time. So the other day, I was actually calculating that the amount of time I get to myself after, like, waking up early for the job, traveling 8.5 hours of work done, and all of that, traveling back. So I get a total of 2 hours after everything is done, said and done. So sometimes I cook, sometimes I just get something packed from the food court itself. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, you can
That's
say.
not much time, man. 2.5 hours. That's every day.
Yeah, on most days.
Wow, makes you kind of wonder, like the amount of time you spend, well, like you just said, like working wise, and you're there 8 hours. Do you get breaks? You get breaks at your work, right? Eight
Yeah,
hours.
we do get breaks, but it's just that the traveling time is quite a bit. It's about an hour each side, and then I wake up like 3.5 hours early before I have to reach work. So in 2 hours, I'll get ready. I'll just have my coffee, catch up on the news or something, and then I try to. Although the travel takes about 45 minutes for an hour, I try to leave 1.5 hour before, so I have some time to grab some breakfast, and I can just start my day without rushing into things.
You're at
Uh,
Donmel Station. You said you're near your Donmel Station.
yeah.
So so that's on the young line, right? So you're going to the Eaton Center.
So first, it's like the line 4 from Don Mills to Shepherd Young, then from
Oh,
Shepherd
okay.
Young.
So you're going you're going west, then you're
Yeah.
going south. Oh,
Mm.
okay. Okay, that's cool. That's good. So you work 6 days a week at Rogers, right?
5.
5 days? Okay. So in those two, so you value those 2 days off for yourself, right? Like today's
Yeah.
your off day.
Yeah. But since it's like, a retail job, so based on business requirements, so let's say if I'm working like last week, I worked from Wednesday to Monday because we had a lot of sick calls, and obviously someone has to volunteer to do it because we can't just close the business.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday, I believe, we had another sick call and we did not have anyone to close. So I worked from 9:15 a.m. to 9:40 p.m.
12
I
hours.
volunteered to
Wow.
work like from open to close because
Yeah.
we didn't have any coverage. So yeah,
You get time and a half for that for working that long period or what?
sorry.
Do you get time and a half for like working your extra hours?
Yes, we do get overtime,
Yeah.
and it was just that if we don't have anyone to cover, and so I volunteered, and it was like okay, no problem at all, because it also tells us like how capable we are. Like eventually things might get tough in the future, so these experiences tell us that we are stronger than we think, and so it gives us more confidence as well.
They ask you, since I met you at the Rogers uh, desk kiosk there, have you met other
Mm.
people yourself besides me, like through the last 3 years working there or what?
I've been working there for the past 7, 8 months. I've met quite a number of people, made a few friends as well. I've also been invited to like interview for one of the business owners who was my customer.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but that didn't go too well because again, like on my off day, I treat my time as luxury because like half the day is gone in laundry and cleaning
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of that. So I tried to manage it. The interview thing didn't go that well. Uh, it was more of a personality mismatch, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Was it for a different job or in Rogers or what?
yeah, so he wanted someone to improve. The customer wanted someone to improve his business processes and all of that, to digitize everything.
Okay.
But there was more of a personality mismatch. So I thought, like being in sales, you talk to so many people. So after like talking to them for 10, 15 minutes, you can kind of not judge is a strong word, but you can kind of make out the person's, uh, way of being or personality. So then you can calibrate your ongoing conversation accordingly. And I realized that, you know, he's a very successful person. He has a great idea for moving his business forward. But working with him, the kind of personality I am, because self knowledge is important as well. It's not just that if you're getting a better opportunity with more money, you just take it. You also have to think of the long term as well, or how much mental and emotional resilience it would take to work with that person. So I gave it a pass.
Oh, so you could tell like it would be your personality would be a sync with this guy, be kind of a mismatch all the way through. You
Yeah.
know. So it wasn't worth it. Like that, I respect that. That's really good that sometimes people just they'll pick a job because they want to get out and then move up, and they'll take the sacrifices of putting up a lot. I know quite a few people that put up a lot of stuff and they don't want to be there, but they want to improve on their position. So they gotta put up with this. So I'm glad you put your foot down and just said I don't want that. That's good. There's always other options, right? You know?
Yeah, I actually took that misstep early in my career in writing. That I just transitioned into a role where I was getting more money, but then working in that corporate environment, and there were a lot of things that like some people don't get it. Like some people are happy that they don't have to do a lot of work, but they are just getting paid and they are happy with that.
Yeah.
But with a more creative career, if like I have that fear in me, like 1 month on, if I'm not being given enough responsibilities, if somebody just comes up and asks me that, what have you done in the past month, then I should have something to show for it.
Yeah.
I'd be cheating with myself if I'm just sitting alone. And after I left that job after 3 months or so, and eventually everybody in my team actually quit. Last one to quit was another close friend of mine. She said that since our project got shut down, we were just getting paid to just sit around and watch Netflix. So I got tired of watching Netflix. That's why I quit the job. Imagine.
That's cool. It's cool. Wow. Yeah. So you just got tired of it. Yeah. Well, some people like that. They like the routine. You know.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day, because I'm Catholic. They said, "How come we get all these challenges in life? Does God hate me or what?" I said, "No." I said, "There's an old saying. There's an old saying in heaven." I said, whatever you believe in God or whatever I say God or whatever you guys say. I say God gives you what you can handle the most. Life gives you what you can handle the most. So you want, like you said, routine, ordinary, watching Netflix, ain't gonna go anywhere. And
Yeah.
like I know guys to this day for the last 20 years, I can tell you right now where they're at this time because they have the same routine and they're happy with that, right?
Yeah.
And they're not challenged. But if you want to challenge yourself, you got to go out there, like you said. You do
Yeah.
different things like you've done, and you get challenged along the way, and you'll be challenged. People all say, "Well, when can I retire from all these challenges?" No, it ain't gonna happen. Experience is telling you right now, 60 years old, still getting challenged in different parts of life and just new challenges. I always say that I tell my nephew he says when you go each day, just say, how can I help somebody and what can I make a difference to do something in somebody's life? And always keep your and also tell my other old senior friends, like, don't be boring. Don't do your routine. If you want to be challenged, you want something different, do something at least once a month or at least once every 3 months, something different. Something you never done in your life. Something you nothing like go rob a bank or nothing, like go do any crime. Take my advice, maybe call. Hey, yeah, I took your advice, man. I got the gun on the bank here. Now what do I do? I didn't give you that advice. But I'm just saying, challenge yourself. You get challenged. So I told my friend, you get challenged because you're that kind of personality. You can get challenged by a higher power because they know you can handle it. That's why. You may think you can't, but you can. And then you go on to the next scenario, right? So I always find it
Yeah.
interesting. Well, like your solo trips, like your first trip's always you said that breaking
Mm.
point of being people watching you. I was like that. I had a thing when I was a young kid, and I don't know what the medical term is, but I couldn't stand people behind me anywhere I went in public with my parents. When I went to church as a kid with my parents, and I'd be because I was in the front, I'd be so nervous, like tense, like anybody behind me, like I could really shake, right? Even like when I was in high school, all the way
Mm.
into up to the military, like I had to get change that whole platform of how I was responding to people. Just my whole paranoia, people around you, even to this day, like when I
Mm.
go to restaurants, I also go back to the wall because I'm used to looking at people coming in, just but it's a case of not ego, but a case of just self-preservation, I guess. But then you
Mm.
realize it's no big deal. Nobody cares. Like who's gonna care how you look and all that stuff, right? Like you said about
Yeah.
the self-image and all. But I know people I watch. When you go on these channels here, Threads and Instagram.
Mm.
You sign up and you see a lot of these people doing all the exercise and they're working out. And like, okay, I got a question for you. Maybe you can put a comedy thing in this.
Mm.
I don't understand why these muscle guys keep pounding this bloody tire all the time with a hammer. Like they're always pounding this tire. They're all big and muscular. I remember follow this one guy. He's a nice guy. I talked to him. He's always
Mm.
pounding. You see quite a few videos like go, okay, I work out all my life. I've been to the military. I've done all kinds of stuff. What's with the tire and the hammer? I don't understand that. What is it proving? I always say if you're doing exercise, what's the result? What's it proving? What's it showing people? Yeah, actually, it's a pretty funny exercise. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
one the other day. This guy he had his feet up on a bench. He was doing like a one arm curl with
Mm.
like a bicep curl. He was going like this, and he has arm on his other hand on the floor, like he's doing like a push up. He was going like a curl. I was like, what does that accomplish?
Yeah.
What is? I guess what? Yeah, I guess what? I guess my mentality is the more weird it looks, but the better result. You can make a book on that, eh? The weird way of working out to look good in front of people.
There are actually compilations on YouTube. Like if you search for, gym idiots compilation or something. So people who have never been to the gym, they don't know how to use the machines, and they just try to do it in their own way.
Yeah, oh,
It's
yeah.
hilarious. Like, when I want to cheer myself up, I just Google this, or either something like news bloopers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like the bloopers. I watch the news ones, and I watch the ones with the comedy ones, like the old Carol Burnett, some of the old uh, the, um, Carol Burnett's Tim Conway. He's another one. Does a lot of bloopers. He's hilarious. He keeps a straight face for the whole thing. Well, other people are reacting, right? I did it. I don't know. Have you ever been in any scenarios of life where you actually can't keep a straight face and you just? I went to a funeral once. I should be saying this. I went to a funeral once, and the priest had a list, right? And I just come back from a posting from overseas. I was had to go to a funeral. I was you're one of those comedy modes the whole time because it was just having a lot of laughs, and I couldn't keep a straight face. And I was sitting in the back of the church, and the priest was at a heavy list, right? And the guy's name the guy had three S's in his name. So can you imagine how he's saying his name, right? So just trying to keep a straight face. That's the funny thing. So,
Mhm.
anyways, so obviously you work out.
A little bit, yeah.
You work out at the apartment there or what?
Yeah, at home. So I have a couple of dumbbells. I used to go to the gym like on and off, but it would always be the same pattern. So if I joined the gym for a year, I paid for the year membership. So I'd end up going 3 months. If I paid the membership fee for 3 months, I'll just go for a month. And then I realized I just got a couple of dumbbells and a yoga mat. I realized the amount of time it takes me to get ready and go to the gym and come back. I can get my workout done right here.
So I was gonna
And
say, if you pay membership just for a day, you'll just go for an hour.
yeah, like
So
even back in Mumbai, so I still had those dumbbells in Mumbai as well. So I'd be like sitting around with my housemates. We were having drinks and everything. Music was playing. They were having snacks and all of that. So I'd used to just pick up the dumbbells and I'm like, "You're just sitting here, right? Why not do some workout? You know, it's just like you're having some leisurely time and you get some muscles as well.
that's
So
funny. It's like
that's how.
I pictured myself having a party and said, I'm not by that guy, but it's like those guy, the Karen guy, he's bringing his weights with him all the time. He's always working out, trying to have a conversation. You know?
So this was usually when we invited people over to our place. So we'd sit down and everybody's chilling, and I was like, okay, I'm free. Why not do this?
That'd be a good comedy skit, actually. Just seen that, you know,
Yeah.
especially with the Indian doing the Indian accent, with the accent and doing the weights and
Mhm.
all that stuff. You know, that's funny. Oh my gosh. So, do you like reading in the class? You said you read a bit of To Kill a Mockingbird. As a writer, as a writer, do you feel you should read more classics, like more classic literature?
So for To Kill a Mockingbird, I just read a few pages because I was too into my head about the
Yeah, yeah.
whole.
I was gonna ask you, it becomes routine that people buy this book because they feel kind of the paranoid. So the bartender sees you say, "Are you reading Kill a Mockingbird? You feel insecure? Come over here." You
Mhm.
know. So what other books do you like would interest you?
So growing up, I like when we had the library class in school, all of my fellow students, they'd just be like, okay, we got 30 minutes to cause chaos and, have fun and talk and all of that. I'd be the one who'd run up to the bookshelves and I'd like, pick up books. So I read all the classics like Moby Dick, Frankenstein, and Robin Hood, Tom Sawyer, all of those.
Okay,
And I fell out of the habit of reading from quite some time now because life is busy. But
it
like
is. Yeah.
couple of months ago, I restarted reading Harry Potter. So
Okay, cool.
my subway commute, I'd just start from the first book. Right now, I finished the sixth one. I finished the fifth one. I started the sixth. So it's really good to, it takes you out of your current reality,
Yeah, I
and
love
then
something that. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I love reading. Exactly what you said. Takes you out of your, puts you in there, and a really good writer will put you in a good environment. Like my favorite author is Leo Tolstoy. I like the
Mhm.
way he writes. A lot of European writers, like their scripted writers, they'll take you, like you said, out of your reality in their scenarios, so they can the way they write. You're just in that. Even if you know nothing about agriculture or some subject, whatever they talk about, they the way they write, you actually feel that you're part of that. I love that. Yeah, I like a lot of European writing. War and Peace. I always recommend it to all my friends because they do. It's a big
Mhm.
book, you
Yeah.
know. I had a joke all the time. I said with Rogers services, when you wait for Rogers, you can read War and Peace by the time you get service. That's online, not in person. So
Mhm.
yeah, I read up quite a few classes. I'll go through a binge reading for months, and then I'll stop for about 2 years, and I'll go back on again. Like now, I'm starting up again, so I'll go like I read regularly. Like I'm not a fast reader, just random. So I'll go
Mhm.
like every year. I'll go through about maybe 50 or 60 books, different
Mhm.
subjects. Westerns and even romance. I like romance, I like the European romance stuff as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the Harry Potter movies? All the books you read? As you read each book, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen all the movies. I actually read the books when they first came out. I was about 8, 10 years old.
Hmm.
And originally, I used to think like there was the second part was playing on the TV, and I was just passing by, and I was like, "Who's this guy with glasses? He makes really annoying, weird faces like this, like So I didn't like it at first, but then it was mandatory in our school that we would have 6 books a year, and every like after reading each book for a month, you had to give a test.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was kind of forced to read it. I read the first part. I fell in love. I read all the parts, and I still remember I used to reread it on my like Nokia phone with the tiny screen.
Hmm.
So you could have like less than a paragraph on one slide, and then you would press the button to scroll it down.
Yeah.
So I used to reread it. So now I'm back again in that. And one of my favorite books is actually The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I read it like after every few years because it reminds me that it's that journey that matters, and at the end of it there is a treasure that you're pursuing, and life kind of the universe transpires in your favor to help you achieve that dream, but you got to hear the omens.
Yeah, because the writer took the Bible story. He took it from a perspective from the another angle, the way he did it. Because when it comes from circle, and I read it myself. I go like, oh, okay, it's from a different perspective rather than reading it like from the Bible, reading it standard, The Alchemist with the and after the old sayings, some of the Bible sayings came from that book, well, not from the book, from the yeah. So yeah, they actually did they actually had, I mean, also like graphic novels too. They did a graphic novel from his the book, The
Mhm.
Alchemist. Yeah, yeah. So he's also a good writer. Yeah, there's one book called it's not a romance. It's called The River Midnight,
Yeah.
and each chapter is done this by the citizen of that town of a situation happening that like I don't know, it was a crime or whatever, I can't remember. But each chapter was done by first perspective, so meaning like her house is down the road, but she saw this happen at this angle. So it's kind of neat the way they did it. It's called The River Midnight. I recommend it if you're interested.
And the author himself, Paulo Coelho, he told his parents at a young age he wanted to be a writer,
Oh, okay.
and his parents actually like put him into a mental asylum because they thought he was crazy and all of that. Then finally, like his own origin story is quite interesting as well. That even after that he was able to do it, and then when like the internet blew up and a lot of people were pirating his books, he actually put almost all his books online for free for everyone to
Okay.
read.
Okay.
Like you never hear somebody do that. But after like reaching a point in his life, after getting some success, he actually put it like even if you go to his site right now, there are some of his most like treasured books. They are available to read for free,
Oh, it's
which is
nice.
amazing. I think like doing that.
I was gonna ask you of writing. You ever thought of writing a book yourself about a personal story or whatever?
So I think there are like a couple of angles to this. So first of all, I think that the journals that I write, they
I
might,
can't, sorry, I got a title for you. I got a title for it. The Application of Dating. Good title.
yeah.
A whole book on that, you know? Kill the fungus, beat the fungus foot. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think that the journals that I write, somewhere down the line, it might turn into an autobiography. At the
Okay.
same time, I started writing a book about like again a love story and all of that. I wrote about 45 pages, but then it was too painful to relive, so I put it on like on hold for a while. And then there's another one which I am working on right now. So it's similar to the concept of chicken soup for the soul. So it's like 101 stories from my solo travels, experiences, and all of
Oh, that's
that. Like
nice. I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
uh, I've written about 6, 7 so far,
Yeah,
but I'll just have to pull things from my memory and set aside some time to finish it because, like, it requires a lot of delayed gratification
yeah.
and, yeah,
So
and discipline.
so Karen's soul travels solo travels from the soul, you know?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Just pay me the dividends and I'll you can have it. No, it's
Like,
a good. I like that idea. Yeah, I get chicken soup. I've read all the chicken soup books, most of them, and then like you said, so there's a lot of travel books written by authors. The Rough Guides is another one. I forget the name of the title, but I've read quite a few. Just like people love travel books, especially personal stories. You know, you ever thought of doing your own like a website, like solo traveling, like for your journal, putting on it with? Do you have a lot of pictures or whatever?
I do click a lot of pictures. Like I'm also interested in photography as well. Like my
Okay.
Instagram page is filled with, street photography. There are hardly any of my like selfies and stuff because even after so many years, I still don't know how to take a good selfie, and it just feels weird looking at your face.
You better get that Kill Mockingbird book out again. No,
This
because
since
yeah.
we're talking about books, I actually there was a time few years ago I accumulated a lot of books. So most of them were like famous books that people told me to read or I read about them somewhere. But I knew that I wasn't gonna read them again or something. So when I started going to therapy, so this was my friend who had turned into a therapist, and I saw her bookshelf in her new office. So there were like 3 4 books that I already had in my collection, including The Alchemist. So on my second visit, I actually gave her like half my book collection, books that maybe I've already read or I knew that I wasn't gonna read. So I gave it to her. There were even books on like how to learn Arabic, and I used to love learning about psychology and all of those things. So I gave like half my collection to her, that I might not be reading it. They might come in handy for somebody else.
Okay.
Let's say somebody's struggling with, their love life or something. So there's a love story. Somebody's looking to, build a career in Dubai or something. So it's a book on how to read Arabic and all of that. So that kind of taught me, the more you try to hold on to things, instead you give it with an open heart, and more comes back to you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just not hanging on to things. You were seeing a therapist or you were dating a therapist?
I was like, I was like, the right way to say is like, I was seeing a therapist for my mental health, not dating a therapist. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Would that
yeah,
help you?
it did actually.
Did you date
Like,
after?
no,
Just kidding.
I try to bring mental health up in conversations because a lot of people don't talk about it. There's a
No, they
lot of
don't. No,
so
that's something that's also good to write about too, as well. Like a lot of we have our mental wellness in Toronto and Canada. Like we don't. It's now more celebrities talk about it. Like known. Like before you will talk. But I'm glad you mentioned that about mental
because,
stress and all.
people when they talk about their personal journeys and struggles, it kind of opens others up to speak about it as well,
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
because they always keep it in the back of their mind, and they're always like, they have that anxiety about it. But
Hmm.
once you talk about it like a normal conversation or something, then it really helps people open up.
That's great. Yeah, yeah. Well, I believe it. I believe 100%. Like you're telling us your story right now. So people are gonna watch this interview and say, you know what, he's talking about it. So I'm not all alone in this whole scenario. There's other people out there that have their own different ways of dealing with stress or mental fatigue, whatever. But it's good. And then you're
And
talking.
on top of that, my mom and sister are counseling psychologists as well.
Oh, are they?
But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I can't go to them for treatment because they're too close to the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's a
there is some.
conflict of interest. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool. How long were you seeing the therapist for?
So this was around the 2020s during lockdown and all of that.
Hmm.
I had like 3 sessions, and every time I'd finish a session and get on my bike to go back home, I felt so relieved and so empowered that I felt that if I pull the throttle all the way, my bike is going to fly in the
Oh,
air.
cool. That's nice.
That's how relaxed and happy I felt, because people should understand that when you're talking to a friend and you're seeking advice, they can only tell you what they understand from your perspective and their
Yeah,
own personal experience. Therapists, they are taught to listen patiently and help you find insights.
yeah.
Sometimes friends, when you're seeking advice, let's say if somebody says that I want to quit drinking, so some people would be biased that if he quits drinking, then who will I drink with? So they will try to move you to
Yeah,
a
good,
part
good
that
line.
you're
Yeah,
drinking that much.
yeah, yeah.
So that way, a therapist will give you like objective insights into your thought patterns and help you think in a different way, that you keep thinking about this all the time. Why is that?
That's like
So that small question, why is that? That invokes different questions that helps you look at those things differently.
like when I was studying being a priest. We were reading philosophy. They give us a
Hmm.
whole range of these books. So
Yeah.
we picked one. We picked one. There's a set of volumes that It's done
Hmm.
in a no personal ideology because a lot of these Western like books you see in stores for studying philosophy or art or whatever. It's done with perspective. It's kind of one sided in a way, unless you find a good book which we found. I forgot the name of the title. I'll put it on the air. But it's all done in a neutral way, like a therapist,
Hmm.
right? They've done it. They present the facts about philosophy, the history of it, and it's you to ascertain what you get out of it. Just like you said, a therapist. Like if you tell me advice or we're talking, I can only give you advice as my experiences, but kind of one sided, right? So like in the book, perspective. So when you go to see a therapist, it's neutral. Just reading a book, it's neutral. And even like whatever you read, Bible, Midrash, anything that's religious or ancient or script, it's all a perspective, right? They say it's a matter of choice in which what you read. You can read one line, I can read the same line and get a different view of it, right? It sounds different in my head than yours, right? So it's me. So it's good. Wow.
It's as simple as, when somebody says, okay, my life is horrible and XYZ, I'm facing this, I'm feeling this way. If you just ask them, why do you think is it that way? Yeah, why do you think that is? You know, that question itself, if the person goes into self inquiry, they can actually realize why they're feeling that way, or something that is repressed, or they've pushed the memory or feeling down, that can come out and they can find some way of healing.
So it's better just telling that coming out to a stranger, a therapist, than a friend, right? Because when
Yeah,
you, like I said, back to the about the ego and vanity, when you tell a friend, you got this fear that they will judge you for who you are, and make you think you less. That
yeah,
way, when you're telling a stranger, no qualms, you got nothing to worry about. I mean, rather than just letting your heart out.
yeah,
Sometimes it's hard. Even like spouses or loved ones or girlfriends or boyfriends, it's sometimes hard opening up to them because you don't want to look less, like you said back in the beginning, less perfect in the view, whatever. But it's all come just basically inside ourselves, right? Like
yeah,
how we feel and just work. Like you're working out. We go to I can tell you funny stories, like watch those gym videos, the bloopers, the people working out the first time. You kind of laugh at them, but I mean, you kind of in a way, but you kind of like I used to be like that too, doing the
mm,
wrong thing, and well, you gotta like look at yourself. You look back if you see when you see people's mistakes, and when you laugh about yourself and think, you just go like, oh yeah, I remember within how I started out. So if you can laugh
yeah,
about yourself by seeing others people's like, then you can also go over and talk to them and just say, hey, I should this, I do the stupid thing, also not stupid, silly thing as well. I see that thing, so don't feel bad, man. So it happens to everybody, not just you alone. That's
mm.
great. So we got 2 minutes left. So anything you want to add there, Karen, for yourself?
So I'd close by something that I've realized working at my sales shop, that a lot of times people say that they see sales as something being that you have to manipulate people, or you have to you know force them into making a decision just to make a buck or something like that. But ever since I joined, I've been growing up on the amount of sales that I make, or the commissions. Like, I started from the sixth place out of six people, and every month it's fifth, fourth, second, third, uh, third, second. So last month I was on the second position in amount of sales. I never like tricked my customers, always gave them the best advice, and I knew that they should never come back to me saying that I wasn't giving the right information. And I kind of proved it to myself that you can be a good salesman while being ethical, while
Yes,
being honest
very nice.
as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, I would say that's the biggest achievement for me in my current career as a sales rep.
That's nice. Hope that inspires others. Well, that attitude you have is great. So you got 1 minute left. So just say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We'll do it again. We'll go for coffee when it gets warmer. I hate the winter. you
Yeah, for
know?
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go for India blood, warm weather.
This was so much fun, Philip.
Yeah, I love
Like,
talking to you. I love hearing your story. I love people sharing stories and it inspires other people. Got 1 minute left. I'll send you copies of the videos, the 2 copies. You can, for yourself, and I'll put it on the air. You'll see it on the channel there, and put more channels, and I'll do the link to your your YouTube as well. People can see your comedy there. So thank you, Mr. Karen, for coming on the show, my fellow Indian friend.
all
Nice,
right. Thank you so much,
good,
Philip.
good looking guy. Finding a nice woman. Just kidding. So have a good week. So I'll talk to you after. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
I'll say bye
Yeah.
for now.